Discasha, Discana, Haakula, Guten Tag, Hola, Konnichiwa. I greet you in the language of my mother first, the Nuata people. And I greet the women first because they give us life. Then I greet the young man who brought his mother here. And I greet our gentleman friend here also. We greet the people from all across this land because when they came here long ago, that's how it was. We had to learn about their language. We had to learn about their ways because when they came here, they would bring things from the east that we don't have, from the south and the north, the cold places and the mountains that are tall, and they would come right here to this village and they would trade with our farmers. They would trade for our sunflower seeds and our squash and our beans, and we had popcorn before Orville Redenbacher got here too, so that was always a good trade item. When they came, they also brought their young sons and their daughters who would look at our young sons and our daughters, and then we might become family, if not friends. And that's always good to have friends because no matter where you go, it's always nice to have a good, comfortable fire to sit by, something cool to drink, and maybe something good to eat, because that's how we treat our relatives. That's how we treat the friends that come here, because we don't know what happened on the trail when they were getting here. And they may be some of our relatives. They can tell us things that happened in those places, and so that was always good. And so when those young men would drive their horses into the camp, the young ladies would sit on top of the lodges, and they would watch them and feel the thunder and that smell of those horses, coming through the village. It was a good thing. And those young men would just bear themselves as best they could, ride as good as they could, and make themselves look as good as they could, because those young ladies are going to look at them, and they might want to sing them a song. And so when your heart sings, it makes a lot of things good in a good way. So some of those young men, like myself, we were given a gift of a sacred branch that sings. And when we listen to that song in the morning, we hear those birds. They say the long necks. They stay together forever. We got the meadowlark, who is our state bird here in North Dakota. But long ago, he was one of our brothers. And so the young man, when he was looking at that young woman early in the morning, he heard those birds, and it sounded like this. Now if a young lady hears that song, maybe she'll feel good and she'll want to talk to that young man back. But in our way, we couldn't just go up and talk to a young man or a young woman. It was done with protocol. So I'd ask my brother to talk to my cousin, to tell his friend, to tell her friend, to tell her cousin, to tell her sister, to tell that girl. Maybe she should go down here tomorrow evening and get some water. Or maybe to go down there and get some branches for the fire. And maybe somebody would come riding along down there. And then it comes back, through the sister and through the cousin, through the friend, through the friend, through the cousin, through the brother. And she said, no, she don't want to go down there. Hey, these guys, you know how girls are. They just torture a man's heart sometimes. And so that young man, he rides by. Maybe he'll go by that camp and he'll say, look at me. I'm a warrior. I have many gifts here, and I have these horses. Maybe somebody here in these lodges could use these horses. Maybe they can use these bows and things that I have made. Me, I'm a man, I'm a warrior. I can get more. I have this deer here. Maybe somebody can feed their family. Maybe somebody can make some moccasins with that fur. Maybe they can make something good for the children. Me, my dad, I'm a man. I can make some more. Take these things, he said. That young man would walk away. Oh boy, now they want to look at him. Who is this young man? What family is he from? What clan is he from? We have these things because maybe I'm related to somebody in another village. And so you don't want to be sleeping with your family, That's not a good thing. It's because when you have inbreeding, then you end up with politicians, and that's not a good thing to have in the neighborhood, I'm just kidding. But as we grow up, and those young men, maybe he'll come back, and he'll say, tonight I'm going down by the river, my brother, would you like to go with me? I'm going to wash my hair, I'm going to wash my horse down there. I said, geez, for somebody who's going to wash, you're all dressed up pretty fine there. They kind of tease each other a little bit, and that young man will ride down there. And of course, all her girlfriends are there, and her cousins, and other people in the village. We're not nosy. We just want to know what our children are doing. We want to make sure everything is done well. And this young man, he looks down there, he sees everybody too. He says, oh, Grandpa, the Creator God, this is a beautiful day. Thank you for giving me this life. Thank you for bringing me here and letting me hear the laughter of my friends and my relatives. Makes my heart feel good. Thank you for that water that gives life to all these things that we can gather here along the shores and celebrate our friendships. It makes my heart feel good, Grandfather, to see my relatives. But I have no one in my heart right now. I don't have anything. All I have is this sacred branch that sings. And maybe if I put a song in there, the wind will carry the song and let it dance in the hair of one who's beautiful. And maybe it can dance and find a place for me in her heart. But all I have is this simple song. I'll play it here down by the river. Let's see. Okay, there it is. Memory, I forgot. Getting old. It's a song that's old, so this is a good song. It sounds like this. Honey, don't you know that I'll be with you tonight? We'll go walking by the water, we'll hold hands in the moonlight. Way I ha ya ha de oh yo ha de oh ya he do. Way I ya ha de oh yo ha de oh ya he do. Honey, in the evening when the sweet grass smells so strong, go walking by the willows, honey, there I'll be along. Way I ha ya ha de oh yo ha de oh ya he do. Way I ya ha de oh yo ha de oh ya he do. Down by the river where the water flows cold and clear, I'll whisper sweet words to you, honey, words you want to hear. Way I ha ya ha de oh yo ha de oh ya he do. Way I ya ha de oh yo ha de oh ya he do. Honey, don't you know that I'll be with you tonight? We'll go walking by the water, we'll make love till morning light. Way I ha ya ha de oh yo ha de oh ya he do. Away ah ya hare oh yo hare oh ya hero. Away ho ya hero. Away ho ya hero. Now, if the young lady likes the song, she'll invite this young man. Again, she'll go through the channels and tell the cousin, tell the sister, maybe he should come by the lodge. Maybe somebody would have some soup or something ready for him. And so this young man, he'll go home and he'll put on his finest and he'll ride back down near that young lady's lodge. And when he gets there again, he'll bring gifts for all the family, from the young men to the youngest, to the oldest. Make sure everybody gets something. Give something to the women. Give something to those elders. Give something to the children so they all know that this young man is a good man. His heart's in the right place. Then he'll tell what clan he belongs to, because I belong to the Flint Knife clan. And that's my mother's side, because when we're born, we are born to our mother's side of the family, so they raise us in life. At the end of our time, then our father takes us and gives us to the next world. But all those times, we always help each other. We send our sons to the best bow makers. We send our sons to the best horse breakers. We send our sons to the best artists. Whatever they want to do, teach them well. We send our daughters to the grandmothers and to the aunties and to the sisters. Teach them how to cook. Teach them what songs in that garden. Teach them the songs to call these different things. And all nature is part of us. You see, we're no different than those animals. We have legs like they do. We have eyes like they do. We eat like they do. We have children like they do. We feel good and we feel bad like they do. We're not so different. You see, it wasn't that long ago. Ma Didiko, they say. Back here in the mine, back there, way back there was a young man. And he got up one morning, every morning like he would get up and he would run outside and he'd wash his little mouth face and he would run down the hill and he'd run up the big hill there and he'd jump on top of a rock and he'd sit on that rock and just let that sun warm his face. You know that good warm feeling in the morning? Kind of cool air, but that sun feels so good when you sit by the house or you sit by the barn or you sit by something and feel that nice warm sun in the cool morning air. He might reach down by that rock he's sitting on and grab some of the grass and roll it in his hands. Doesn't that grass smell good? That good sweet grass. Maybe he'll pull some more and dig up some of them roots and, oh, the earth. That good, sweet, beautiful dirt, the earth. It gives us life. All these things are for us from the earth. Mother Earth. We call her Mother Earth because she gives us these gifts. Our food, our clothes, our homes, our cameras and our phones today. You see, Mother Earth is good to us. And so we have to thank her for the gifts that she brings us. Because a lot of people, they don't have those things. Our people welcome them always here. There was a time when someone said, from the east, under the sun, there's going to come a log pushed by a cloud. And it's going to bring new beings to this land. And one day these little wooden ships came with a full sail. Does that not look like a log with a cloud? And those people, they had 2 legs like us and 2 arms like us and 2 eyes, and we waved to greet them. And they saw someone who looked different, who dressed different, who was colored different, and they took their sticks of fire and thunder and they tried to destroy us, so we ran away. We watched them there in the trees as they landed on the ground. We watched them as they walked on the food and the medicine that could give them strength and help them to heal. We watched them. And we watched them sadly as they laid their people down and put them to death. We watched them as we tried to help. Some of our young people, talk to those men. Some of our young women, talk to those girls. Give this to your people. It'll help them feel better. Sing this song when you plant this. If you want good things, sing this song. Make this prayer. And some of them said, this is different. How did you get that? Where did you get that? And they thought we were bad and we were evil because we were trying to help. We pray different. We do things different. But are we so different, my friends? How many legs do you have? How many legs do I have? How many arms do you have? How many eyes do you have? How many hearts do you have? Again, like Mother Earth, we have one heart. She gives a heart to all the grass and all the trees. She gives a heart to all the birds, all the buffalo, all the animals of this world. She gives us all these things so we can live together. Different colors, different languages. Do you speak like a buffalo? Ah, that little mouse. He was up there and he was laying upon that rock and watching the sky, and it just felt so good. And then all of a sudden he could hear thunder and he felt the ground shake, so he sat up and he looked around and he didn't see nothing. And so he laid back down again, and boy, that ground started shaking. The thunder was really strong, and when he looked, there on the edge of the earth was a long black cloud. It was getting bigger, and the ground was shaking so hard, he fell off of his rock right there. Oh, he jumped up and he moved the grass apart, and there in front of him was the biggest, the darkest buffalo he ever saw. He said, oh my gosh, you're so big. Oh, you're so tall. Oh, you're so stink too. Said, oh. What? What did you say? Said the buffalo. I said, I think it's time for me to go home. And little Mousy turned around and he was going to run, but that buffalo stepped on his tail. Little Mouse said, brother, I got to go home now, so you better get off my tail, okay? What did you say, said the buffalo. I'm big and I'm strong. I go where I want to. I stand where I want to. Who are you to say these things to me? Tell me to go away. Who are you? What gives you this right? Little Mouse said, my name is Little Mouse, and I'm just a warrior from the village down here, and I have to go home right now. So, brother, if you just get off my tail, I'll be going right now. So move, would you? Again, you try to tell me what to do. Don't you see that I'm big and strong? If I don't like something, I could squash you. You know, I take these deer and these elk, and I eat them, and I use their horns to clean my teeth. I see those big turtles down there, I take those and I put them in my mouth. I snap them just like, nice and juicy. But one of my favorite things to eat is mice. Little tiny mice like you. I think I'm going to eat you. And he opened up his big mouth, and back then, buffalo had big sharp teeth like a dinosaur, like big sharp teeth. And that little mouse, then you're afraid of me. Buffalo said, what? Me? Afraid of you? I'm not afraid of anything. Why do you say this? Well, if you're going to destroy me, then you must be afraid of me. Afraid of you, a little tiny skinny thing like you, with your big ears and your naked tail, you're nothing to me. But brother, I'm a warrior. If you're a warrior, then you're brave, aren't you? Oh, yes, I am. I'm very brave, brother. How brave are you? Would you take a challenge from me? That's what warriors do. Yeah, sure. I'll come take a challenge from you, and I'll be right back tomorrow if you get off my tail, okay? I'm going to get off your tail because I want you to go home. You go down to that village of yours, and you tell them that I'm coming. You tell them that we're going to have a race, and if you lose, I'm going to destroy all of them. I'm going to destroy your village, and I'm going to destroy everything, and I'm going to save you for last. I want you to watch all of this. Now go, he said, and he kicked Little Mouse in the tail. Oh, Little Mouse was running. Oh my gosh. And he ran all the way home, and he got to his village. He said, my friends, my relatives, wait. My friends, my relatives, guess what I saw? My friends, my relatives, I saw the buff. They're so big, and they're so dark. Oh, they're so stink too. And he said, we know the buffalo's big and dark and stink. We see them all the time. What's so special about today? Well, today, me and the buffalo got a challenge going. You challenged the buffalo? Little Mouse, you're just one of the smallest guys. How could you challenge a buffalo? You're not even very big. That buffalo, he can run farther than 3 horses. You can't even run around the village. You got asthma. You can't even breathe. What are you going to do if you lose? Well, he said he's going to come here and destroy everything and then eat all the people. What? He's coming. Women, hide your children. Men, get your weapons. We must prepare for war, prepare for death. This little mouse, he has brought death to us. Little mouse, men, run, get your weapons. Women, hide your children. And they were all running back and forth. The little mouse said, but my friends, my relatives, wait. My friends, my relatives, wait. But nobody would stop to talk to him. He said, my friends, my relatives, wait. And when he looked down, he was standing all alone. His heart was feeling bad, and he was going to go back to his lodge, and he started walking that way, and pretty soon he heard somebody say, hey, little mouse. Hey, little mouse. And when he looked, there was one of his grandpas. Come here, Tagosha. Come here, grandson. I want to speak to you. Sit right here beside me, right here by this fire. It's nice and warm. What is this I hear, he said, about it? A warrior. Did you hear about that warrior? I heard this warrior is going to race against the buffalo. He must be pretty brave, don't you think? Grandpa, I think he's brave. Good, good. I'm proud of that warrior. I don't even know who it is, but I'm proud of him. Do you know who it is? Oh, yeah, Grandpa, I know who it is. He said, well, then you must go, my grandson. You go and you bring that warrior here because I would like to see him. I would like to greet him. He said. Little mouse, he stood up and he said, I'm here, Grandpa. I know you are, grandson. Now go, bring me that warrior that's so brave. He said, Grandpa, it's me. I am that warrior. You? My grandson, are you so brave that you would face the buffalo? Don't you know he eats the animals and he crushes things and he's the biggest one. He's the worst one. I know, grandfather, but I'm not afraid of him. I'm not afraid. I think I can do this. Well, if you think so, grandson, then I think so too. And Grandpa, he reached over in that little box and he took out some feathers. And he chose one just right and he put it there in the hair of Little Mouse. To receive a feather is one of the greatest honors we have. And he had just gotten one from his grandfather. He said, oh, Papa, thank you so much. And he ran outside. He said, my friends, my relatives, look, my friends, my relatives, wait. And he said, you did this. It's because of you. And they were all still angry at him. And he said, but my relatives, wait. And his heart was still kind of sad. And he was going to walk back home again. When he turned and he started walking again, he heard somebody say, hey, Little Mouse. Hey, my boy, come here, Little Mouse. And when he looked, there on top of the lodge was one of his uncles. Sitting with another uncle, they were cleaning feathers. He said, my grandson, my son, my boy, come here, he said. And he come up there on top with, they were looking at all those feathers. He said, hey, I can heard you're going to run against that buffalo, is that right? Yes, it is, Uncle, I'm going to run fast. Well, you better, because you're usually the last one. But I can't run for you, but I can give you this, he said. And he took some of them feathers and he tied them down the leg of Little Mouse. He said, these will help you to run faster, to jump higher, he said. So you do the best that you can, my nephew, and I'm proud of you, he said. He shook the hand of Little Mouse, and that was the hand of a warrior who had protected the people. That was the hand of a warrior who had fed the people, and that was the hand of a warrior who had just given him feathers for his run. What an honor to have. And Little Mouse was walking proudly through the village looking, man, look at these feathers. And again he heard somebody holler, Little Mouse, my brother Little Mouse. And when he looked, there was one of his sisters. Hey, Little Mouse, I heard you're going to run against the buffalo. Is that true? Yes, it is. He said, my goodness, I don't know what to think about that. She said, I know you do good, but I want to offer you these. And she took 2 beautiful deer-toe moccasins and she gave them to you. These will help you run fast and jump higher, and these will protect you from the sharp rocks and the cactus, and these will bring you home, brother, she said. She hugged her little brother, and she kind of smelled like, you know, like sweet grass and sage. You know how girls smell? That's how she smelled, like that. You know, sisters, they always kind of smell good when they put that flower stuff on them. Yeah, that's how it was. And Little Mouse, he thanked his sister, and he walked outside, and he started going again. And then he heard somebody, my mouse, my little mouse. And when he looked, there was his mama. Oh, she come running, and she hugged him. She said, oh, my son, you look so good. She said, oh, I'm just so proud of you, and I'm so afraid for you, too. Oh, my mother, don't be afraid, he said. I'm not afraid of that buffalo. She said, that's why I'm so proud of you, too. And I want to give you prayers, and I want to give you hugs. And she hugged Little Mouse, and Little Mouse hugged his mama back. And, oh, she smelled like soup, and she smelled like corn, and she smelled like flowers. And doesn't Mama smell good sometimes? Oh, yeah, Mamas always smell good, don't they? Yeah. And so he hugged her mom, and boy, he turned around and he started walking. And that buffalo was on the hill waiting. And when he looked down there and saw all the people coming with him, pretty soon, such a man, his grandpa came out of the lodge with a hand drum and started singing the song of the warriors. Way, hare, oh, hey, hare, oh, hey, oh, hey, hey, oh. And all the people, all the men, they came out and they know the song of the warriors, the great fighters, those who are brave, and they all sang that song to give him power. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. And they all gathered around. They were all coming. The animals of the forest, they were coming out. And the sky was filled with all the birds too. They were coming. Even the little bugs was crawling. They were coming, singing that song with everybody. The song of the strong heart. The song of the warrior. Song for Little Mouse. Buffalo's up on the hill. I see you now. Do you hear me? I see you now. If you want to be destroyed, keep coming towards me. I'll destroy you now, he said. Little Mouse said, hey, brother, big as you are with those little ears, can't you hear? They're singing the song of the warrior. They're singing for me. Are you ready to run? Ready to run. Are you ready to run? Oh, yes, I am, he said. And he rubbed his little mouse hat, and he tied his little mouse moccasins on his feet good and tight. He said, yes, I am, brother. I'm ready. Big buffalo shook his shoulders. Tall, boy, he was tall. Dust was going everywhere. Are you ready? He looked at all the animals and all the people. He said, you there, Brother Wolf, you run into the forest and bring me back the best bow you can find, he said. You, Brother Coyote, you run there into the brush and you find me the best arrow that you can find. And so they ran. He said, Brother Elk, come here. Bring your horns. And Brother Elk stepped forward, his horns high in the air. He said, you, Sister Spider, come here. Spin me a bowstring across my brother's horns here. And Sister Spider was spinning that bowstring back and forth. Pretty soon, here come Brother Wolf with that bow. Here come the coyote. They were standing there and they looked and they hold that bow, took that string and they pulled it back on there and they put that arrow. When it lands, he said, you must run. And they shot it high up into the sky, went way up there, almost touched the clouds. And it turned and fell back to earth. And they started to run. Little Mouse was running this way and that way and jumping over the grass and the rocks and going this back and backward. And Big Buffalo was coming right behind him, trying to step on him. And every time that mouse would jump, Buffalo tried to step on him. And he said, hey, don't you run too fast. He said, I don't want you to lose any meat. Mouse said, brother, big and fat as you are, you can run as fast as you want. We don't like greasy meat. What? Did you call me fat? And boy, that buffalo sure was stomping on the ground trying to get that mouse. And then pretty soon he lost him in the tall grass. Did you ever lose something in the tall grass? You put something down or dropped it and you can't find it? Well, that's how it was with that mouse running this way and that way. And that buffalo slowed down to find it. But little mouse was just running and running. And pretty soon there he was, standing on the edge of the earth. It was a great rock wall, and down below the rocks were sharp and jumbled, and he could not jump. It was too far to go this way, it was too far to go that way, and he was wondering what to do when all of a sudden the wind began to blow. It blew across the grass, it blew down into the valley, it blew up into his face, and it moved the hair, and it moved his feathers. And it started to lift him in the sky, and he was flipping this way and flipping that way because mice don't know how to fly very good, right? And so he was flipping and flopping, and pretty soon there he was at the bottom of the canyon. Thank you, I made it, thank you, that was so much fun, he said. Hey, Buffalo came and looked down there. Hey, how did you get down there? He said, I flew, brother. Nah, mice cannot fly. He said, yeah, but I did. Watch me fly. And he jumped down there and he tried to land on that buffalo, on that mouse. But that little mouse, he ran and he scrambled right up the rocks. Those feathers on his legs was helping him to go. And that buffalo saw him. Now is my chance, he said. And he just ran after that little mouse and he smashed into that rock wall. Did you ever see a buffalo? His face is all kind of flat like that. He used to be very handsome, but now his face is flat because he hit that wall so hard. Oh my gosh. And little mouse, he climbed up the top and he said, hey, brother, don't get all dusty, remember? We don't like dirty meat. When I get up there, I'm going to make you smash meat, he said. And that buffalo was climbing. His hoofs was just sliding off them rocks. But little mouse, he was running across the prairie. He was going through the grass and looking at the flowers and the clouds. And oh, it was so beautiful. Oh, suddenly there he was again on the edge of the earth. This time it was a great river of life. He was standing there looking and saw things floating by that he'd never saw before. Did you ever stand on a river? Did you ever watch things in the water? Where did all that water come from? And where's all this water going to go? And look, there was Brother Buffalo. I got you now, he said. And he come running right toward the little mouse. And the little mouse turned and he said, oh, please, Grandpa, there's help at this time. And he remembered those cuffs that his sister gave him. He took and he jumped into the water. And the water was moving. That water was so cold. And he couldn't bubbles. And he was going down. And that buffalo saw him. That buffalo jumped in the water, splash, and little mouse went in the air. Did you ever see something fall in the air like that when you throw things in the water? That's little mouse. He went way up, and the buffalo saw him. He started going right towards him, swimming towards him, and his big teeth and his big eyeball. Little mouse said, oh my gosh, he said. He was swimming as hard as he could. His little mouse legs was getting cold. His little mouse butt was getting cold. He started shaking. He was almost turning blue. He said, oh gosh, please help me. Oh my gosh. And that feather in his hair started dancing. It started saying, listen, little mouse, when Brother Buffalo comes by you, reach out and grab hold of his tail. Run and jump on his head. And you stand there, and when you get to the shore, jump on his horns and tip him over in the mud. Then you can win. What? What said little mouse? He'd never heard a feather talk before, and he was wondering, and that buffalo's coming up on him. Oh, he was swimming good right towards that mouse. And little mouse, oh my gosh, and he swam this way as fast as he could, and that big buffalo went right by. He saw his big hump going in the water. He saw his little butt going in the water. He saw his tail in the water. He said, oh my gosh, and he grabbed a hold of that tail, and oh my gosh, and that buffalo was pulling little mouse through the water. Oh my gosh, and little buffalo looked back and said, hey, what are you doing back there? And little mouse said, I'm just hanging on. He said, you let go. And that buffalo pulled his tail. And every time he did, the mouse pulled some of the hair off his tail. He pulled the hair off his butt. He pulled the hair off half his back. What, did you ever see a buffalo? They're half naked because that mouse pulled the hair off of him. Oh my gosh, he ran up, he jumped on the buffalo's horns, and he was hanging on to his head. Buffalo was looking around as he was swimming. I don't see you, said little mouse hanging on. I hope you drown, said the buffalo. Little mouse said, not today. And he was hanging on tight. And that big buffalo, he started getting tall in the mud on the other side. And little mouse jumped on his horn and flipped him over in the mud. And then he jumped on the shore. Hey, little mouse won. Everybody was happy. Everybody was cheering. Everybody but that big old buffalo. When he come out of the water, he was very angry. He shook himself like a big dog, and water was flying everywhere. Did you ever see a dog shake himself? Oh, water went flying everywhere, and there was stink water off that old buffalo too. My goodness. Little mouse, you cheated me. Little mouse said, brother, I did not cheat you. I won. You must honor me. I heard you talking. I heard you asking for help. Who was cheating with you out there? He said, brother, I did not cheat you. I was praying. I was asking my grandfather, God, for help. You were praying? Yes, my brother, and I even prayed for you too. For one who's very small. Your wisdom is very big, and I admire that. And I'm embarrassed, he said. And now I will honor you. But first, you must let me pray too, okay? Please, brother. And the buffalo, he turned to the east and he said, Grandfather, Creator, God, today I have learned something. I have learned knowledge that you don't have to be big to be powerful, like this little one here. His wisdom is great, and that is where power is, within him. He turned to the south, said, where the green grass comes from, where the warm winds come from, I ask you to bless our land with water, bless it with green grass that's tall, and all the animals that eat can feed our people. And we can share this land together. He turned to the west, where the darkness is, where fear hides, and he says, today, fear, you have been defeated as I have been defeated, because this little mouse has defeated his own fear. And today he has won this race. He turned to the north and said, there where death waits, where wisdom lives, and death waits, prepare a place for me, my relatives, for I will dance with you soon. And he laid on the ground in front of the little mouse. The little mouse took out his knife, sharp and shiny, that rock, and he walked right up to that buffalo, and he stabbed it. He stabbed that knife right in the ground. You missed him. You missed it. Give it that knife. We'll kill him. People were hollering. He said, no, 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 this is my kill. This is my knife. I will decide what to do. But you missed him. You didn't kill him. He's no good. He's mean. He's different. He's not so different. How many of you are his friend? How many of you have spoke to him? How many of you know him? He has a mother and a father like I do. Maybe he has a brother and a sister like I do. Maybe he has family like we all do. And they might miss him. And I don't want to take him from them. So my brother, this is the way it's going to be. From now on, the four-leggeds like you, the great ones, you can no longer have sharp teeth. The deer and the elk and the buffalo, no longer. You can only have sharp teeth. You can only eat grass. You can't eat people no more. And so you ever see a cow, a horse, deer, buffalo, they only eat grass because that mouth said so. He said, you, my brothers of the forest, the wolf and the bear, the elk, you guys, some of you tall ones, you mountain lions, you guys can only eat little things. You can't eat people no more, he said. And you ever notice that those animals don't eat too many people unless they get in the way? You got to leave those animals alone and respect them. He said, you, my brothers that fly across the sky, you can go wherever you want and have all the leaves and berries you want. And you little ones too, of the ground and the bugs, you can have whatever you want. And those birds, they fly everywhere and they eat lots of things. And those little bugs, they like to eat grass, and some eat meat, and some even try to eat us, don't they? Yeah, them bugs are something. And that little mouse was standing there. Buffalo said, you have given me my life. And brother, why do you call me that, brother? It's because you have the same heart I do. You like to do things that I do. And we should be doing these things together, not separately, my brother. So don't look at me and see what's different. But I ask you, brother, look inside your heart and see where we're the same. Don't you like to laugh? Don't you like to run? It's the beautiful world we live in. So close your eyes, brother. I'm going to ask you to fly for just a moment. Close your eyes. You want to hear a good one? Take a deep breath. Close your eyes. feel? Did you leave for just a moment? Did you fly for just a moment when you had your eyes closed? If you did, then you do what we ask all of our warriors to do. Believe in yourself. Believe you can do the impossible. Because when we first came together, and I said, get ready, I'm going to make you fly. Would you believe me? Did I make you fly? Some of you, yes, I did. All I did actually was just ask you to do this, to try. Close your eyes and believe. I'm going to play a song. Remember that? That's all I did. Just like your teacher, she says, do this, read this, try this, and you got to try it. She said, if you have any difficulty, ask me. I will help you. Just like me, all I did was help you. I asked you to close your eyes. I played the song, and that let you dream, that let you fly. Your teacher is there to help you to fly. Learn how to write. Learn how to read. Learn how to speak. These are important things. Because we all come from many different nations. Look around your room. How many nations are there? There's more than one. Norwegians and Germans and maybe some Indians and Africans, maybe some Asians. We come from all over this world. We live here together. And we should be proud because our ancestors saw this day. They said that one day people will walk around and the land will be covered with black ribbon and spider webs will be everywhere. And people will talk to rocks. Sound crazy? But look around those black highways. Ribbon. What about those telephone lines and those electric wires like spider webs all over the land? And what do you have in your hand, some of you? What do you have in your pocket? That little black thing, that little thing that you talk to? Long ago, we had never seen a telephone. Now we saw those in a dream. Now look, would that look like a rock to you? We had never seen them before, but our dreams did. Believe in your dreams and believe in yourself. Because if you work hard and you ask for a little bit of help, things will be good. That's how we are. We do things for each other and help in a good way. Just like that turtle. That turtle carries his home wherever he goes. That turtle is powerful, like our lodges. Our lodges are round. Our lodges welcome everybody. And our lodges have that good warm heart right there in the middle. See that? And so we welcome you. Don't be so different. Be like those birds and carry the respect and love of the land. Love and respect of other people, of those who gone before you, those warriors. And warriors are not just men who conquer and defeat. Warriors are men and women and children who do good things like Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. They help the community. That's what makes you a warrior. It's not how you hurt someone. It's how you help someone. That's what a warrior does. Be the best warriors that you can be. Let your heart sing a good song. And maybe someone will hear that song. Might even sound something like this. Well, I hope I haven't caused you any problem. I know you guys would rather do history class and science class and social studies instead of watching some old Indian guy sitting here talking about other things. But did we talk about other things? What is Animals and people getting along. Animals and people and the earth we talked about. That's like science, right? The gardens and the animals. That's part of science. And getting along with one another, that's social studies and a little bit of music in there. And all of this happened a long time ago, so it's history too, isn't it? You are today's history. Someday your grandchildren are going to want to hear these stories. So do the very best that you can. Ask your teacher for help. Represent your mom and dad, because wherever you go, everything you say and everything you do, you're teaching somebody something. You teach bad or you teach good. It's up to you. Be the best warrior you can be. Make your family proud. Be proud to be here as a Native American, not because of the color of your skin, but because we're born here. You see, the pilgrims came, and today that little wooden ship that brought those pilgrims, it's not wood anymore. It's made out of iron and steel and big ships. It flies through the sky, big airships, and they're still bringing people to this land. And it's up to you and I to greet them. Greet them. Ask them about their clothes. Don't make fun of them, because we welcomed everybody. They want good things too. They left that land like some of your ancestors did. My ancestors greeted them, and now it's up to us, the new Native Americans, to greet these new pilgrims and make them feel welcome. Show them that we are all one. Show them that we're proud to be Americans and North Dakotans, proud to be Native. Hope, thank you for coming.